Mwamba's shocking warning: opposition must win Chawama or betray Tasila Lungu. In Zambian politics, some constituencies carry more than votes, they carry symbolism. And according to Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, Chawama is one of them. His warning is blunt. If the opposition allows UPND to win Chawama, it will be a betrayal to Tasila Lungu. But betrayal of what exactly? A political legacy? A sympathy vote? Or a broader opposition strategy? Tonight, we unpack why this by-election has become a test of opposition unity, memory, and credibility. Good day, viewers. Welcome to another edition of InspirAfrica Official. I'm Nakash. It's been quite a week in Zambian politics, hasn't it? The usual push and pull, the statements, the counter-statements. But today, we're diving into something that cuts deeper than the ordinary political theater. Our lead story today involves a warning so stark, so uncompromising, that it has sent shockwaves through opposition circles across Lusaka and beyond. Picture this: a senior opposition figure stands before cameras and microphones, his voice trembling not with fear, but with barely contained fury. He speaks of betrayal. He speaks of blood on the hands of those who would abandon a comrade in her darkest hour. The air is thick with accusation, heavy with the weight of political consequences that could reshape the opposition landscape for years to come. What happens when loyalty is tested at the ballot box? When does a by-election stop being just another vote and become a referendum on character itself? Can an opposition movement claim moral authority while abandoning the daughter of its own founding father? What does it say about a political coalition when one of its own members must issue ultimatums just to ensure basic solidarity? And here's the question that should keep opposition leaders awake at night: if they cannot unite to win a single constituency, Chawama, for Tasila Lungu, the daughter of a former president who gave everything to their movement, what hope do they have of ever reclaiming State House? What message does defeat send, not just to their supporters, but to the ghosts of their political past? Is this warning from Anthony Mwamba a rallying cry for unity? Or is it the death knell of an opposition already fracturing under the weight of its own contradictions? Factual FOUND. The revelation came to light during a press briefing held earlier this week at the opposition coalition offices in Lusaka's Cairo Road area. Anthony Mwamba, a prominent member of the United Kwacha Alliance and former Minister of Defense under Edgar Lungu's administration, called an emergency press conference that was initially expected to address routine coalition matters. Instead, what unfolded was a blistering public ultimatum directed at his own political allies. The context is crucial here. Tasila Lungu, daughter of former President Edgar Chenda Lungu, announced her candidacy for the Chawama parliamentary seat following the nullification of the 2021 election results in that constituency. The Electoral Commission of Zambia had ordered a fresh by-election after petitions challenged the validity of the previous outcome on procedural grounds. For the opposition, this should have been a straightforward affair. Tasila Lungu, carrying not just her father's name but his considerable political legacy in Lusaka's densely populated compounds, seemed like a natural candidate to rally around. The Chawama constituency, historically an opposition stronghold, had been won by the Patriotic Front in multiple previous elections, but as the campaign season approached, cracks began to show. There were whispers of some opposition parties considering fielding their own candidates. Murmurs of coalition members questioning whether the UKA should automatically back a Lungu family member. Questions about whether Tasila had earned the position on her own merit or was riding solely on her father's coattails. It was against this backdrop of hesitation and internal discord that Anthony Mwamba stepped to the podium on Tuesday morning, his jaw set, his prepared statement gripped tightly in his hands. What he said next would dominate political headlines for days. Direct evidence. Mwamba began with measured words, but his tone quickly intensified. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, fellow citizens, I stand before you today not just as a politician, but as a man who has witnessed firsthand the sacrifices made by the Lungu family for this country and for our movement. And I must speak plainly because the situation before us demands nothing less than absolute clarity. He paused, letting his words settle before continuing. The Chawama by-election is not just another election. It is a test. It is a test of our character, of our loyalty, of our very souls as an opposition. And I want to make something abundantly clear to every single member of the United Kwacha Alliance, to every opposition party leader, and to every so-called ally who claims to stand for justice. If we do not rally behind Tasila Lungu, if we do not throw our full weight behind her candidacy, if we allow her to walk into that electoral battle without our unified support, then we are nothing but traitors. The assembled journalists shifted uncomfortably. Mwamba pressed on. President Edgar Lungu gave 7 years of his life to this nation. 7 years. And during those 7 years, many of us, and I include myself in this, we enjoyed positions, we enjoyed influence, we enjoyed the fruits of being in government. His family suffered. His daughter, Tasila, watched her father age under the crushing weight of state responsibility. She watched the stress, the sleepless nights, the constant attacks from political opponents who showed him no mercy. He leaned into the microphone. So now, when she steps forward to serve, when she offers herself to the people of Chawama, what do? Do we scatter? Do we suddenly develop amnesia about who stood by us? Do we start calculating our own petty political interests? A reporter interjected, "Mr. Mwamba, are you suggesting that some alliance members are not supporting her?" I'm not suggesting. I'm stating facts. There are members of our own coalition who are on the fence. There are leaders who are, testing the waters, seeing if maybe they can field their own candidates, seeing if maybe they can gain some advantage by not fully committing. And I'm here to tell them, that is betrayal. That is cowardice. Another journalist asked, "What specifically do you want the opposition to do?" Mwamba's response was unequivocal. "I want every opposition party in Zambia to declare, publicly and unambiguously, their support for Tasila Lungu. I want resources. I want campaign teams. I want door-to-door mobilization. I want the same energy we would give if we were fighting for State House itself. Because in many ways, we are. We are fighting for our credibility. We are fighting for our ability to look Edgar Lungu in the eye and say we honored his legacy." He continued, his voice rising. "And let me be very clear about the consequences if we fail. If Tasila Lungu loses Chawama because we failed to support her, because we were divided, because we were selfish, then we have betrayed not just her father, but every single person who believed in us. We will have no moral standing. None. We will be exposed as frauds who only care about power when it serves our individual interests." "But Mr. Mwamba," another reporter pressed, "isn't Chawama just one seat?" "In the grand scheme." Mwamba cut him off. "Just one seat? Just one seat? This is not about mathematics. This is about principle. This is about whether we are a movement or just a collection of opportunists. If we cannot win one seat for the daughter of our own former president, in a constituency that has historically been ours, then we deserve every bit of the mockery and defeat that will follow us." The tension in the room was palpable as Mwamba concluded. "I have issued this warning because I still believe in us. I still believe we can do the right thing. But make no mistake, history will record what we do here. And those who abandon Tasila Lungu will be remembered as the Judases of Zambian politics." Deeper analysis. Mwamba's explosive warning has opened a window into the deeper fractures plaguing Zambia's opposition movement, fractures that extend far beyond one constituency or one candidate. The United Kwacha Alliance, formed in the aftermath of the 2021 general elections that saw the Patriotic Front lose power to the United Party for National Development, was supposed to represent a unified front against the ruling party. But unity, as it turns out, is easier to declare than to maintain. Political analyst Dr. Charity Nuzamba of the University of Zambia offered her perspective in an interview following Mwamba's statement. "What we're witnessing is the fundamental tension in coalition politics. Different parties have different interests, different power bases, different ambitions. The question of whether to support Tasila Lungu has become a proxy for larger debates about who leads the opposition, whose legacy matters most, and how resources are allocated." From the ruling UPND's perspective, the opposition's internal conflict represents an opportunity. Information Minister Chushur Kasanda responded to Mwamba's warning with barely concealed glee. The opposition's desperation is showing. They cannot even agree among themselves on a single candidate for a single constituency. And now they resort to threats and ultimatums against their own members? This is not the behavior of a movement ready to govern. The people of Chawama deserve better than to be pawns in these internal power struggles. But it's the response from within the opposition itself that has been most revealing. Some members of the UKA have publicly backed Mwamba's call for unity. Others have remained conspicuously silent. A few have even pushed back, albeit carefully. One opposition MP, speaking on condition of anonymity, told local media, "Anthony is passionate, and we respect that. But he cannot dictate to independent parties who they support. Democracy means parties have the right to field candidates where they see fit. Tasila is a qualified candidate, but that doesn't mean she's automatically entitled to unanimous opposition support." This raises profound questions about the nature of political loyalty and legacy in Zambia. Does the daughter of a former president automatically inherit his political capital? Should opposition parties subordinate their own ambitions to support someone based on family lineage? Or does Tasila Lungu need to prove herself independently? Legal scholar Professor Martin Kimunya points out another dimension. There's an interesting constitutional and democratic question here. We've moved away from hereditary politics, supposedly. We claim to value meritocracy. Yet here we have a situation where the argument for supporting a candidate rests heavily on who her father was. It's a tension between respecting political legacy and ensuring that positions are earned, not inherited. The Chawama by-election has also become a barometer for Edgar Lungu's continuing influence over Zambian politics. The former president, though out of office, remains a towering figure in opposition circles. His supporters remain intensely loyal. His detractors, including some within the opposition, see him as representative of an old guard that needs to make way for new leadership. For Tasila Lungu herself, the situation must be deeply complicated. She has spoken publicly about wanting to be judged on her own merits, to carry her own political weight. Yet the very argument being made on her behalf by Mwamba centers almost entirely on her father's legacy and the opposition's debt to him. And then there's the ultimate question: what happens if the opposition does unite behind Tasila Lungu and she still loses? What if Chawama, despite unified support, falls to the ruling party? Would that validate the skeptics who questioned whether family legacy alone was enough? Or would it be blamed on insufficient mobilization, on the lingering fractures that Mwamba's warning revealed? The stakes, as Mwamba so dramatically framed them, could not be higher for an opposition movement that has struggled to find its footing since losing power. Thank you so much for watching this edition of InspirAfrica Official. This story of Anthony Mwamba's warning, of Tasila Lungu's candidacy, and of the opposition's internal struggle is far from over. The Chawama by-election will be held in the coming weeks, and its outcome will reverberate far beyond one parliamentary seat. It will tell us whether Zambia's opposition can function as a cohesive movement or whether it will continue to fragment under the weight of competing ambitions and unresolved grievances. We want to hear from you. What do you think? Is Mwamba right that supporting Tasila Lungu was a moral imperative for the opposition? Or do individual parties have the right to make their own strategic choices? Should political legacy play such a central role in candidate selection? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have a robust, respectful discussion about the state of Zambian politics and what this moment means for our democratic future. We'll be following this story closely and bringing you updates as the Chawama campaign unfolds. There are developments happening daily, and we'll be here to break them down for you, to provide context, and to ask the tough questions that need asking. Until tomorrow, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep demanding accountability from all our leaders, regardless of party affiliation. This is Nakash, signing off for InspirAfrica Official. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.